how's everyone doing? Welcome to the Driven Life Show. Did you guys miss me? We took a week off and now we're back this week with a new episode. Episode number 49. We're going to reach episode 50, you guys. I hope everybody is doing well. And I just hope you guys are having a great week thus far. Happy new week. So we're in a new week. We are at the end of June and we're getting ready to head into July. So you guys, I hope you guys have been checking out the episodes. I hope you have listened to even episodes that you haven't even ever heard before, like episodes in the first season, which was in 2020. We just celebrated a year, May the 19th, our first year anniversary podcasting. We are on your favorite podcast platform. I am your host, Karen Oliver. Thank you so much for coming back, tuning in. Thank you for the feedback. Thank you for the comments. Thank you for sharing and liking. I'm doing too much, ain't I, you guys? But I definitely want to always shout out to everybody who have shared out the feed, shared out the live feed, shared out the episode feeds to family and friends. I'm so glad and I'm so honored to have you guys support, because without you, there would not be the Driven Life Show. We did rebrand the Driven Life Show. We did rebrand the podcast because it is powered by WCD Coaching Incorporation, which is our brand, and of course the podcast was the first implementation to WCD Coaching, and so we rebranded our name to the Driven Life Show this year. Yay! So we're in season 2, and we're on episode 49. And before we head out and go into July, you guys, I will share with you guys by the end of the week what the July topic will be for that month. But this month we're still talking about transitioning. And you guys, I had a guest earlier this month, Deborah Driggs. If you have not listened to that phenomenal live interview, we did go live via Instagram because I wanted to give our also supporters and followers just a little different, a different view, the ones who don't have the podcast platforms. And if you do, great. And so we did that live interview on Instagram. It was a very phenomenal interview. We got to meet Miss Deborah Driggs. We got to talk about her transition from Hollywood to the corporate world, the ups and downs, the setbacks, and how to go forward. That IG live video is still on my Instagram feed, and I will post my Instagram link if you don't have it. But you guys, let's head back in today. I will have some more guests coming in. I think I will have more guests coming in for the month of July. I may have one more guest before the week is out, but I will let all of my followers know. But today we're going to be talking about transitioning seasons. Yes, transitioning seasons. I want to talk to you guys a little bit about transitioning seasons, and I promise I won't hold you guys long, but I hope you guys understand the difference between transitioning and for me, in my own natural definition, transitioning means, just changing. You guys, we always talk about how it's good to change. Sometimes we don't feel comfortable with change, but it's good. And when you're transitioning into different areas of your life, it don't always feel good. So today, transitioning in different seasons, whether it's good or not so good, my question for you guys is, how are you feeling about the transition that you're in, if you are in a transition, or if you are in a certain season of your life that you don't understand? How are you feeling about that? Because it's okay if you're not feeling good about it. It's okay if you're not feeling not so good. You can really hate it, but you realize that it can be worth it, that it's also worth it as well. And so that's the thing, and that's normal. What do you feel that you need to learn from the season that you're in? What do you feel like you need to finish accomplishing if you haven't finished accomplishing everything that you need to do and everything that you need to learn in your season that you're in the transition of your life? So it's so important to understand and to know that transition can be a little bit overwhelming sometimes to us, or transition can be exciting for us, because for some people it's exciting, for some of us it's not. It's always going to be something in there that feels uncomfortable. Now, that's just my own opinion. I don't know how you guys feel, but there's always going to be something when you're dealing with transition. It's always going to feel a little bit uncomfortable. Sometimes it can feel a lot of uncomfortable. Like, it's going to be like, I feel uncomfortable a lot. Like, I have to get my mind together, my thoughts together to understand the transition that I'm in, because it's something that you're in that you've never been in before. And you guys heard me talk about the word unfamiliar. So you're in an unfamiliar place, you're in an unfamiliar season, you're around unfamiliar changes of your life, and you just can't grasp what that is, if that makes sense. And so I'm pretty sure all of us have been in some type of transition in our life, especially with different seasons. You know, we know that seasons change, and like nowadays in times, it's hard for us to tell the weather from one another. Sometimes we can have snow in April, you know, just an example. And I'm pretty sure most of us that live in different states have already seen that. It's been going on a while, how the weather has been cold in the summertime. And it's like, wow, how unlikely is that? But there's a transition that's going on. There's something different that's going on in the environment and in the earth. And so that's just one example. So I gave you guys my natural definition of transition. So the regular definition of transition is the process or a period of changing from one state or condition to another. So, and those familiar phrases are change, move, passage, transformation, conversion, and adaptation, basically. So I pretty much, in my natural version, I pretty much summed up some of these characteristics and what transition meant. A couple more phrases, characteristics are, and subcategories are adjustment, leap, progression, development, evolution. Ooh, I like that word, you guys. Evolution and mutation, transfiguration, jump, switch. You know, guys, what's so funny is that we talked about leaping in last month in May. We have talked about not only leaping, we talked about development, we talked about progress, we talked about change. You guys know we talked about that on the first season of the podcast. And so when you hear transition, and you can feel when you're in a different transition of your life, it's not going to feel the same, because you know something is changing. Again, as the subcategory says, something is moving. You're adjusting to it. You're leaping. You're switching. You're developing. You're evolving. So, for me, just for an example, and I want you guys to leave your feedback too. Please feel free to leave your feedback, comment, and also email me. But just an example for myself, when I was in a different transition, a different season in my life, I tried to actually block what was coming. Even though I knew something felt different, I always still tried to tiptoe around the fact. I still would kind of like you know how when you try to make something fit that won't fit. So I kind of did that in certain areas of my life. I'm like, okay, I just want this. I just want this to fit right here, but I just can't make it fit. It's just like doing a puzzle, and you got all the pieces right there together that you know will fit, but you still trying to make this one piece of the puzzle fit that you know is not going to fit. And you know that it's time to rearrange. You know that it's time to change. You know it's time to adjust and make everything fit right, but you don't want to. And it's not the fact that you don't intentionally want to. It's the fact that, like I said before, is that you're unfamiliar with the transition. You don't know what's on the other side. You're a little bit fearful of change. You're not sure if this change and this transition is going to be good for you. You're thinking to yourself, oh my gosh, what if I fail? I mess up. Just for some examples, starting starting a new job, going to a new school, and I'm talking about for college students and even adults too, starting a new role, a new leadership role, a new entrepreneurship role. Just let's even jump to family situations. Talking to a family member that you haven't talked to in years. I'm just throwing some different examples and different life examples out there. Meeting someone for the first time, and whether that's a family member or someone that you don't even know. Well, I don't know how this conversation will go. I don't know. And it's like you keep trying to put off things. You keep trying to say to yourself, or you would tell that person or thing, well, I'm not going to do this time, or I'm not going to go and have this conversation, or I don't think I'm going to take this position because I know that I'm okay and I'm safe here, but if I go to the other side, I'm not sure I'd be so safe. So you're trying to stay in a safe zone, but you got to understand that the zone that you're complacent with and that you're settled in is not the zone that you're supposed to stay in for the rest of your life. And that's where I kind of talk about too, you guys, complacent. We talk about that in the first season. And every time we have a discussion, I always come back to this episode. That was in the first season, in the first 3 or 4 episodes on the podcast. So you become complacent and you're like, okay, so I'm safe here. I know that I'm safe here. But you're not moving there. That's not really, you feel that that's your safe zone because you're familiar with everybody, you're familiar with everything, and you're not really sure of people, you're not really sure of things, you're not really sure how the new thing is going to go. But change and the new thing is for your good, because you can't leap and you can't jump and you can't evolve if you stay in your same safe zone. So we call it, and I'm talking about all of us, we call it safe zone because we're familiar. Nothing has happened. I don't have to worry about anybody. I don't really have to worry about any confrontation or anything like that. And I think some of us are very timid and very fearful. We don't want to confront certain things in our life. We don't want to confront certain things around us. And when we talk about confrontation, it doesn't have to be mean. It doesn't have to be rude or angry. When we talk about confrontation and confronting things in our life and people around us, it doesn't have to be a bad thing. But we still have to confront it, and we still have to be open with the things in our life and with the areas around and in our life and with the people that we deal with day to day, whether that's people we know or people we don't know, or whether that's materialistic things or physical things, in our life or around us. I don't want to go through the process. That's it. Sometimes we don't want to go through the process, but the process is necessary. So we don't want to think that where we're staying at all season long, or for every season you can't stay in that same place because you can't evolve if you don't move. So transitioning is moving, jumping, evolving, leaping, changing, transforming. You're transforming. And so it's just like, I'm not going to give you guys the whole analogy of the butterfly, but you guys know how the butterflies are, how they adapt and how they grow, and it's a process for them to turn into that butterfly and or get ready to go back into that season, to go back into that worm. And I may be saying the wrong name for worm, but you guys know what I'm talking about. But there's a process when they change and when they transition, and it's a process. But guess what? It ain't nothing they can do about it, because that's the transition, that's the transformation that they are made to do. They were evolving in life on earth. That is how they were made to transition. We are made to transition as human beings. We are made to transform. We are made to leap. We are made to evolve and develop and adapt. We have to adapt to different things in our life too. people, places, or things. We have to adapt to it. And we got to know how to confront the things that we're not familiar with. But it's okay, because that is your safe zone. Your safe zone is evolving and changing and transitioning in different seasons. And like I said before, that some seasons that you're in may not feel good for a while. It may not feel good, but you got to learn how to adapt to it. We all have to learn how to adapt to it. I'm talking about all of us. And so I'm really, really, really hoping that you guys, that I'm helping you all, and even myself, I'm saying, on tonight. But I want us to understand about the different areas in our life. And I want you to, and if you could just do this little exercise, and I hope you guys do the little exercise, but I would say doing an exercise of, if you don't want to, if you love to journal, and then journal. If you love to just write it on a piece of paper. If you love to talk it out, then talk it out when you get to a quiet place by yourself. But just think about this. This is a small exercise. It don't even take long. Just think about it. Think about the season where you're at. Think about the season where you was at last season. And then think about the season where you're at now in 2021. Have some things changed, or have some things stayed the same? If they are the same, is it because you stayed the same on your own will, and because you was unfamiliar, because you feared stepping out of your comfort zone? What are you learning from the different seasons that you're in? So if you're not moving and evolving and changing and transitioning from one season to another, and then that means you're still trying to stay in the safe zone that you think is safe for you, which is just staying there in one area of your life and just being complacent. Because sometimes we have done that, and all of us have been there, to where we were like, okay, I'm fine. I don't see or feel that anything has changed, so I'm gonna stay right here. So when something new comes, we're still in the same place. When something new comes, it's gonna pass us by, because we're still not moving. We're not evolving. We're not transforming. We're not adapting. We're not jumping. We're not adjusting, because we have decided to just take it upon our own selves. I'm gonna stay where I'm at. I'm going to stay right here, because I just feel that that's going to be good for me. Sometimes what we think is good for us is really not. So transitioning is important. Transforming in your life in different areas is important. Change is important. Moving is important. Shifting, that is a good word. I was looking for that word as well too. There's also another subcategory for the definition of transition, is shifting. If you're not shifting, you're not moving, and you're not transitioning anywhere or doing anything. And I know all of us can sit back and think about different seasons where we wasn't moving. I can just say for myself, and I'll just share a little bit with you guys, that there was a season where I wasn't transitioning. I wasn't moving, because I felt like the new thing that was coming to me was passing me by, or either wasn't coming at all, because that was in my mindset. And I'm going to say this too, that I got discouraged. I got discouraged and dismayed from some things. So I'm like, okay, whatever, that's fine. If this shows up, or if this comes, or if I do this, or if I get this, that's going to be fine. But I had to change my mindset, because every time I said that, I would still be in that same area of the familiar, not wanting to see what the transition life has for me. I'm missing open doors, and I'm missing new doors, because I'm still having that mindset of, oh, well, I guess that ain't gonna come for me. Or I guess, oh, maybe I shouldn't have that conversation, because I don't know what that outcome is going to be. Those are some of the things that we're saying. That's some of the things that we were saying. But it wasn't until then, when I tapped into it, that, Karen, you have to step outside. It's just like, okay, if somebody tell me that the sun is out, I don't know the sun is out if I'm always staying in the house. because I won't go outside. Oh, I don't want to go outside. I think I'm just going to stay in here and just continue to do what I've been doing, every day. Staying in the same place, sitting on the chair, laying down, watching TV, day in and day out, and not getting outside and seeing what nature has to offer. And I'm using that for an example too. Like, I don't know that even if I don't look out the window, I don't know that the sun is shining. Other people know because they've been outside. They've taken walks by the lake. They went outside. They've got some good sunshine. They went to the park, with the kids, with their family, and they had a great time. But I don't know that it's pretty outside because I'm still sitting in the house. But there's a reason why I'm still sitting in the house, because there's something that is triggering my mind and telling me, and also I'm also speaking out of my mouth, oh, I'm just going to stay in. I don't want to go outside because I'm not feeling well. If you tell yourself every day you don't feel like doing anything, you're not going to feel like doing anything. So I hope that makes sense, you guys, when I'm talking about transitioning in different seasons of your life, and how important it is to move, how important it is to change, how important it is to adapt, how important it is to adjust. I hope this is making a lot of sense, because it's definitely, helping me. And so, you guys, thank you so much for tuning in. Please leave your feedback, comments. If you have any questions for me, or if you would like to have a clarity call with me, with WCD coaching, or a consultation call with me, whether it's about the podcast or just one-on-one coaching sessions, please feel free to leave a comment and email me, and I definitely will pin the email. Thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you guys for listening. I'm so glad to be back with you guys on this week with another episode, and I can't wait until we hit episode 50, which episode 50, we're going to reach that episode very soon, by the end of the week or next week when I come back with a new episode with you guys, because we're going to do a special where I'm going to do a bonus, and we are going to release another episode on the same week. So you guys, I'm excited. You guys, I also too want to make an announcement that I will be joining an app called Wisdom, and so I will be a top mentor on that app, and I will let you guys know when that releases. I'm excited to give feedback. I'm excited to give advice and to be a help to one another, as well as others being a help to me. So I'm excited about that, and I will let you guys know all about that. Thank you guys for tuning in. I hope you guys have a great rest of your week. I hope you guys stay positive, be encouraged, and I will talk to you later and soon, as you will hear us on the Driven Life Show, powered by WCD Coaching Incorporated. Talk to you guys soon. Bye-bye.